So hello people, welcome to Estudly. This is kind of a podcast thing. We have Lazy Engineer here. He's one of our viewers. He's also a very prolific coder. And we're just going to discuss about Copilot. Okay. So Lazy Engineer, over to you.
Yeah. So first of all, let's start with Copilot. What is Copilot? So Copilot is a project which is under construction by GitHub. Okay. So it is like a suggestion thingy, like a Google Assistant or Apple Siri. It just suggests you the code which you comment out in the title. Like if you write a program for a plus b, then it will automatically suggest you different code for that, and you no need to copy from Google and paste it. So it is just a suggestion tool right now. It is in under progress, it is in beta stage, so we can't confirm that in future it will replace a human programmer or not. So today we are discussing about that it can replace or not. So first question of mine is, so are you willing to use GitHub, sir? I'm asking you.
Yeah. I'm listening. Okay. So am I willing to use GitHub Copilot? To be very
Yeah, or
frank.
will you use in future if
Okay.
it will release in full version?
Okay, makes sense. So to be very frank, I literally just deleted the entire Visual Studio code from my laptop. It's a very bulky program. Even though my laptop can run it, I don't personally prefer using Visual Studio code. I'm more of a Sublime Text
Yeah,
slash
it's already a
Neo
bulky
Vim.
program.
Yeah, so I'm that kind of a person, like minimalistic. Now, if there are two things. If for some reason GitHub Pilot would be, I think it would be available on like Atom and Sublime Text in future. I don't see any reason not to use it. I mean, I personally think it helps more than it harms. So for example, when I don't have to constantly see, being a programmer is all about going to Google, going to Stack Overflow and checking out what's the error with the program, right? Or what am I supposed to do next? Because even if you have been coding for like 4 or 5 years, sometimes you forget basic things like, okay, how do I open a file? Till this date, I don't remember the code for opening up a single file in Python. I have to check it every single time. Now, if GitHub Copilot is saving me that much time, I will use it. But I also kind of in a dilemma that it's gonna make me a bad coder in future, because if I don't have GitHub Copilot, once I started using it, I'm getting very used to it, and then I don't have it in the future, then that's gonna hinder my ability to code properly. So I'm kind of a 50-60% yes. Yeah.
So
Sorry.
GitHub in future, right?
Yeah. So no,
You will use GitHub in future.
Yes, 67, 50-60%. I will probably use it, but I'm not gonna get used to it. I personally think it's just gonna be like a gimmick. It's just some like people. There was this extension named Kite, right? So it was an autocomplete. People
Exactly.
used to use it, but it's not that big of a deal. Once again, Kite was like basic AI. This is like a very advanced one, on the entire GitHub code base. It has been trained. But yeah, I'm still at 50-60%. I am not convinced. What about you? Will you use it?
I'm not using it because after some review on the website, on official website of GitHub, definitely I'm not using. So let me just share the screen and share the review of that. So first of all, we consider the accuracy right here. Okay. So clearly they said that it can make mistakes, or it is in a limited member or testing program right now. Okay.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
right here, you can see my cursor.
Yeah, I can go on.
Can you see? So it is a clear record. We are offering GitHub Copilot to a limited number of testers for free, right? So basically now it's free. When users makes a habit of using it, then they can make it paid version. It is right there in below. It is written like will there be a paid version, right? It is officially posted by GitHub, not any other reviews. It is officially posted by GitHub. So they
Yeah,
are saying that it is only for testing purpose. It's free. Then it will be paid.
yeah, I mean that
So first,
is sorry. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I am just basically saying that first of all they make the habit to use it, then they will make it paid. So everyone needs to paid. Yeah, it will not available for them. So it is just a marketing strategy for them.
Okay. I mean, isn't that how every single tech product or any product is? If you think about what GeoFiber does in
But
India.
yeah, so no, I'm just saying that they are taking code from free, right? They are taking code from open source. It is a free code, but they are charging for that.
Yes,
Now that is my
but
point.
but 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 the technology that they use, that the way they train their AI, the way that they make this extension available, I think that's proprietary. And I mean, I think that requires a lot of
But
work on their
but
end.
yeah, but a
So
programmer can do easily just in 1 to 2 minutes. Right?
yeah, once
They can
again,
stack overflow.
yeah, but like that's, I mean, yeah, that does make sense. But like you are a coder, right? That it sometimes takes
Yeah, right.
like for a program to do this is like a really big deal compared to a human doing something, because human brains, right? I personally think if they
Yeah,
do make a paid version, my like if it's like reasonable price, I'm still at 50-60% of using it. I'm not gonna like, for me personally, something being paid, if the developers deserve it, especially in software. I know a lot of people don't pay for software, um, but I personally make it a habit that even if let's say a software is open source, for example, I make it a habit of, like, okay, if I have some extra cash or money on hand, I'll make sure to donate to developers. Now in this case, if they come up with a paid version, if it's worth it, I'm still at 50-60%. I might go for it, I might not. Also, I know, like, when you say that they are making it free, then everyone's going to be addicted to it, and then they're going to switch to paid version.
yeah,
I mean,
that's my point.
isn't that what every tech product does? Like,
Yeah,
as I
it's
was saying about GeoFiber, they give you 1 month of like, okay, have this
no,
amazing
no.
1 gigabit speed, have fun, right? And now, okay, fine, now you like just pay us money for that. So I think that's a normal marketing
It's just a
strategy.
basic marketing strategy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it doesn't inherently make them like, I don't want to say bad, but it doesn't make them bad or any, like, they're just doing what the market does. I can't say that we should blame them for it. But yeah, what
but
you said still
but
makes
my
sense.
still point is that they are taking open source code and they are taking money for that.
Okay, I
I'm just that's
yeah.
just my point.
So okay, could you like stop the screen sharing for a second? So like for the like
Okay,
the
okay,
video, just yeah. Okay. So
okay.
open source projects don't necessarily have to be free. I think you know that, right? Like even if something is open source, yes, you could take the code, you could compile it yourself, makes sense. But I know of a lot of open source projects which are not free. Like, yeah, the code is there, but if you don't want to go through the hassle of, um, like compiling it yourself and managing the maintainers version, compiling it every single time a new code, like a push has made, like there's this app, um I guess the name is Net Monitor or something, that's like it's available free, it's open source, you can see the code base. But if you want premium features, like if you want to monitor your network traffic and all that stuff, you still have to.
Sir, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Sorry, I
We are
believe.
talking about paid version.
Oh yeah, the paid version of an open source project. Yes, as I was saying, there are open source projects which could be paid. The one that I was talking about was NetStat or something. I don't remember the name. It's an open source project.
Yeah.
It's an open source app for Android where you can monitor your Android traffic. It's awesome. You can even block some traffic. You can block ads. But if you want the full functionality, you have to pay for it. Even though it's open source, even though the full functionality code is available on GitHub, you still have to pay for it. And that's just how the developers work is. And I stand by it. I mean, it makes sense. If someone like that totally makes sense to me. There are also email clients, for example. I believe Tutanova is an email client, right? I think they are open source. I I I think I'll have to check, but they still charge money. They could charge for the servers. They could charge for the functionality that they made. Even I believe Proton Mail, or at least one of the I believe Malware VPN has this open source nature, but you still have to pay for the VPN because they do
Okay.
own the servers. So I mean, that kind of makes sense that you still have to or might have to pay for an open source project. So I'm fine with GitHub charging money as
Yeah,
long
yeah,
as it's
I
reasonable.
can, I can understand that. Okay, okay, okay. I also understand that because if I'm at that application, then I also charge for that data security. So basically, someone asked, what about the transmitted data? So it is clearly written that when you write a code in with Copilot, so it stores your data on the server. It's clearly written over there, and it can. They say that it is secure, but your human can read it. Right? Their members can read it. So what if someone hacked it and or a data leak or data breach happened? So if you are a tie up with a company and you are writing your code for your client, it is in right. It is a policy that you can't share that code with anyone else, or they might be might can copy it or anything else, or company can get in loss, so they can make a legal case on you. So what happened? Your data leaks there.
That's a fair point. Not just like proprietary code, but what if I'm using a code where I have to make a lot of API calls, but the API key has to be private, right? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a fair point. I have to assume obviously GitHub Copilot is sending every single thing I type on my keyboard, even how many times I type something and even how many times I backspace it. I am
yeah. It's clearly
totally
written here there.
yeah, so I'm totally not okay with that because that's my typing habit. So if I'm typing in speed for some reason, right, you could say a lot about a person from their typing habit. So like how many times I'm gonna make a mistake writing something, how many times and how many times I just use the GitHub Copilot. That's a telemetry data. uh, i I mean, I knew about this, but for some reason it didn't strike my mind that yeah, it is a specific possibility that all of this data is going to an AI. The
Yeah,
thing that you
and
yeah, and you said that even inspection of gathered source code will be predominantly automatic, and when humans read it, okay, so humans can read it, and I am not
yeah.
cool with that. So totally not
They
cool.
are admitting that. They are
Yeah, they
publicly
are.
admitting that
I for some
human.
reason, I mean, I knew that this would be the case because you are basically it's like you are sharing your screen, but it's like a keylogger,
Yeah,
right? It's exactly a
yeah,
keylogger. Like because every single API key I just paste into the code, even if I'm not using like even okay, it's not a good idea to just paste your API key in any code. You can just use files and you can just credentials files and stuff. But even if when I'm
yeah,
loading those credentials, they are still going into variables inside Python. I'm just going to use Python as an
yeah.
example.
They are scanning that.
They
They
I
can.
Yeah, I think they are because in Copilot, before a few days there was this code example that I just like in the comment that hey, write a program to get the value of a plus b or something, and then I just write a equals b equals something, and then in the comment, not even printing it out, I'm just writing in the comment the value of sum would be, and I just leave it blank, and after 2 seconds it will fill it out by itself. So it definitely has access to those variables even if I'm not specifying it, uh,
Yeah,
which I am not okay with. You know what, now my percentage to use this has
sure.
gone down to like 20%, but yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I think what you are trying to say is they're just trying to remove the suspicion from their way with like saying like, hey, listen, we don't do this.
uh,
But I still think they are getting all that data, and it's a private company after all. GitHub is owned by Microsoft. Just because GitHub hosts open
yeah,
source projects, it's still owned by Microsoft. And I specifically hate every single Microsoft project except for GitHub and Xbox. But everything else, uh, Windows, Internet Explorer, all that it's bad. So yeah, sometimes
yeah,
you gotta like sit and think about
okay.
which company owns the company that we are talking about. So yeah, let's move on to the next
They
one.
are most probably three. Okay, so third point. Yeah, third point is a main point, right? So it is trying to just say that GitHub is not a perfect, right? It's have some flaws and issues, and they are admitting that GitHub can have issues while you are writing a program, and also full version they have some issues. They are just trying that. So what happen if you write a code and if you just suggest you write a code from the suggestion of GitHub and you submit to the client and client find that error and they get a loss on that.
Okay, so you said that what if the code that you write is just faulty, right? And like what if you take that code, you put it in a project, and now it goes to the client, and now client could potentially have like losses of like thousands of dollars, technically, right? Now I at that point I
Yeah,
don't see it, it's just an AI. I personally wouldn't blame the tool that someone is using. I would blame the person, that person is dumb enough to trust a tool to do its proper job, because at the end of the day it's the programmer. I personally, once again, see, this is the reason I don't think GitHub Copilot will replace programmers, because at the end of the day it's programmers who check for logic, who check for every single thing, because they are the ones who make sure it is supposed to work. Like, I mean, yeah, there are programming memes and stuff that, hey, programmers are doing a very bad job and stuff, but it's programmers who have to debug the code at the end of the day. And if someone for some reason is just taking the GitHub code, like even
yeah,
Copilot code, or even code from Stack Overflow, and just putting it as it is without changing anything, then they are not a programmer. I'm sorry, but they are just a script kiddie, technically. Not even a script kiddie, it's worse than a script kiddie. So I personally think,
yeah. They are just crunching it.
yeah, right. So it's just like you might as well like make some changes to the code. If you're gonna be like a dumb person and just take the code as it is, then it's on you. It's totally on you, and I don't think you are a programmer or a coder if you're just copy
Okay.
pasting. Yeah, like, even though 90% of programming is technically searching for it, but if you're not gonna put any effort into the code, then you deserve to get replaced by Copilot. No offense, but that's my
Yeah.
unpopular opinion. Copilot,
Okay.
personal view, security wise, it's 3 out of 10. Privacy wise, it's 1 out of 10. Convenience wise, it's somewhere around 6 out of 10. I do think it's not supposed to be used by entry level programmers, because then every single entry level programmer is just going to use GitHub Copilot and just paste the code as it is, which is going to lead to, as you said, potentially thousands of dollars of losses for the company that they are working
Yeah.
for. And you came up with this point again and again, that hey, GitHub Copilot is gonna replace entry level programmers or coders. But
Yeah.
I think they're
It
just gonna,
can.
it can, but I think it's just gonna replace the people who call themselves coders. Once again, I'm going back to that
But they
point.
are, yeah, they are crunching for that. They are working for that.
Yeah, but it's then
They are
what's the
meant to be
difference?
that.
Yeah, but what's the difference between then being a coder and someone who is just uh like taking the copying the code already? That doesn't make you a coder. That's my opinion, because Like
Okay, but
if
let
I'm getting a
yeah,
project, for
let
example.
me hear. Let,
Yeah, yeah, go on.
let me hear out. So, what was your first program, and did you copy from somewhere else? I mean that if you are making your first HTML program, what you do? You just copy and paste as
Okay,
starting.
okay, like my first code. So I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
about Python because I'm like comfortable in Python. My first like project was just looking at something from you. That's how I learned Python. I was looking at YouTube tutorials and I was just copying what that person did, making small changes everywhere. So, for example, if it's a yeah,
yeah.
like so the project.
Say,
Uh, Hold on. Let me just finish off this tangent. So like my first project was sentiment analysis on Twitter. So you just take a bunch of tweets and then you perform a sentiment analysis. And I'm not gonna lie, I just copied what that person did. I just took that code, I put it in my code editor in Sublime, and I changed a few values. I changed a few API keys, and that's it. Yeah, because that was because I was learning how to code. So yeah, go on, but
same. Every person does that. Yes, every person does that. But after, if Copilot succeed in that, then no, everyone will be get depressed that program is doing that. So why we will do? Person like me, from the name I'm lazy. So why will I do if program is doing that?
okay, that's fair. Also, I mean, do you mean that people are gonna lose motivation to actually code? Like, is that the
Yeah,
same kind of question? Because when we
yeah,
discussed this on live last week, a lot of people in the live chat just said that, hey, I wanted to learn coding, but I'm now disappointed because everything is done by the program. Like, I'm being replaced
yeah.
as someone who just wants to get into coding and learn. But I think those are two separate arguments because GitHub Copilot is supposed to be, once again, I'm going to say this, GitHub Copilot is supposed to be used by someone who has experience in programming since years. Okay, if someone has been a coder for, let's say, 4 years, they have, like, 10, 15, 20 projects under their belt. GitHub Copilot is just a tool. Okay, it's just a hammer, but it's a big hammer. Okay, I'm going into
But
carpenter analogy, but it's a tool.
okay,
Okay, if someone wants to learn coding, forget about GitHub Copilot. Yes, it's kind of like people are gonna see it in the news and stuff, but don't use, or don't let GitHub Copilot, don't let an AI discourage you from coding something. uh it's
but
yeah.
as per my research and searching everywhere, GitHub Copilot is getting a backlash in every community. Like if you go on YouTube, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Facebook, everyone is just pointing out its disadvantage. The person are only pointing out that it is only a suggestion tool. That's a advantage, and they are just pointing out the disadvantage everywhere.
Okay,
That's the point. So people
I
are giving a backlash on that.
now I do
Definitely, people
agree.
are not liking that.
Okay, now I do agree with your point that it makes people lazy, but it's like I don't want to blame the AI or the product. It is doing what it's designed to do. It's very similar to saying that, hey, mobile phones or uh, like Instagram is, for example, I'm just going to take an example of Instagram, that Instagram is making people more lazy, more connected to the screen, more depressed, right? I mean, that was what the app was designed to do. It is supposed to make sure that you
Yeah,
are glued to your phone, right? It's Instagram. Now, yes, whatever motive was from Facebook, I absolutely hate Facebook, but it's just doing what it is designed to do. And if people don't have the oversight, or people don't like think far enough that, hey, this is bad in the long run, i I don't know. So I do agree it could be an addictive tool which leads to, like, people being lazy. But at that point, I think just people should be just wiser, and people should just know about this, that hey, this tool is gonna make me lazy. This is gonna uh, decrease my morale of writing a code. That, yeah, that's it. No comments. I think everyone should just make a decision for themselves. But yeah, but
Yeah,
I do agree it's very bad for new coders who are just jumping in. They're gonna look at this and they're gonna be like, nope, and they'll just leave and not learn coding. But yeah, anyway, I believe that's marketing.
yeah,
It's like they haven't even tried the tool, and they're gonna look at this and be like, you know what, nope, and they're just gonna leave. uh, so yeah, that's marketing, and that's the news around it. But
yeah.
yeah, so
Exactly.
guys, that was the GitHub Copilot discussion slash podcast or whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we also have like a Telegram channel. We also have a Telegram discussions group, which is very amazing. You can check the links down in the discussion. And you can also make sure that we get live every week on Saturday. So don't forget to join the live. Thank you so much for watching.